Hello, I'm Dr. Jane McCartney. I'm a chartered psychologist in the UK and I'm here to tell you all about the narcissists in your life. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the trauma bonds. Now, these are the seemingly unbreakable links that you may have with a narcissist in your life. Now, narcissists can come in all types of varieties. They can be relationships, they can be friendships, they can be people you work with, they can be family members. And of course, when we talk about the bonds, it's harder, obviously, to think about. Say, if you have a narcissistic parent, what can you do to break those bonds? And I'm going to cover that in this video. Now, remember, narcissists are people that like attention and have a pathological need for control. They have to be right all the time. It's all about them. They just want the world to revolve around them. I call them orbit people because there they are, and everybody else has to go around them for their use. So trauma bonds, what exactly are trauma bonds? So I said it's that inability, seeming inability to be able to break that dependency that they have got you to have on them, and equally they totally have on you. It might be that the dependency that they have on you is, of course, for the time being because you are giving them their supply of control and feeling important. Something that they really buy into, but actually your relationship with them isn't as solid as theirs with you. When we come to these bonding things, you can be in a relationship with somebody. Now, this is very often, and I find this a lot with the people that I see professionally as a psychologist. You can have people that are having to negotiate a trauma bond with somebody in their life that they really don't want to. As I said, a parent, a sibling, some cases grandparents, or it could be an ex and you have co-parenting with the narcissist and you have to still have some kind of relationship with that person to make it right for both you and your children. So they will seek to control you. That's basically what a narcissist wants in this life. They will seek to control you. Now, you will have people that make arrangements with you. This is a classic one. Say, we talked about the co-parenting. You may have the absent parent or the non-custodial parent that will say, okay, I'm going to come round, I'm going to collect the children and I'll take them out for the day. And you, as the parent that looks after the children, has their, a complete welfare at heart. You will tell them, you will get them ready. And I've had this with people so many times that they've said, the kids were ready, they were packed, they were ready to go, and they are literally standing by the door, standing by the window, waiting for this other parent to come. Now, note that I'm not saying for the dad to come, because it can equally be a mum that will let the children down. And it's the parent that does the full-time caring is often the one that has to pick up the pieces. They have to make it better for them. But it's the narcissist who believes that they are still controlling that situation. I've had people that would say they've had to change their plans completely at the last minute because they were due to go out for a night out, say, for instance. I had one lady that used to say, she would come and she'd arrange with her ex that he would come and pick the children up and she'd be going out for a night out. And then time and time again, he would just at the last minute make an excuse. And what we kind of found out was one of the themes was he got to know that she was going out. And of course, even though their relationship had completely broken down and it was only ever about the children, he still wanted to have that element of control about her. He did not want her to go out. And of course, he was then also fearful that she might go out, meet somebody that would replace him in his children's lives or replace him in her life. But we found that as a theme. So worked around actually not letting him know that she was going out. And amazingly, it worked. He would kind of be coming around going, oh, right, I've got the kids, are you going out? What are you doing? I want to know what you're doing. And she would find ways of not actually saying what she was doing because he wanted to control that. And he would, of course, hammer the kids for information. Where's mum going? Do you know what she's doing? So she felt really bad in not, because they were quite young, the children. She didn't want them to be lying to their dad, but then at the same time, she didn't want to not be able to have a life of her own. So she felt bad about kind of keeping stuff from them, but she didn't think it was, she justified that quite rightly too as well, on not telling them, so then they don't get, berated by the dad to give them information about the mum. So it kind of worked, and within that, she was able to then not necessarily always keep going out, but it was just that little bit more of an extraction from that bond that she had with her ex, that she felt more in control and more certainly entitled to, but she just felt that she could do this. Always in these situations have a plan B and quite often a plan C. I will work with people on this. So plan A is, the parent comes around, takes the kids off, but actually, who have you got in reserve so your plans aren't scuppered? If you are, arranged to go and, see a show or go out for dinner with somebody, who have you got in reserve? And often that's where, friends, useful relatives can come in. So trauma bonds are something that a narcissist will hold on to even when they have gone on to somebody else and started a relationship with somebody else. They don't think twice about still believing that they have this bond with other people, their exes, and the people that are literally spent behind them. They will just carry on regardless because they are getting something from this. All the time they are getting a supply of being in charge, being in control, being powerful, being thought about all the time. They will keep that trauma bond going. So just think about those relationships. Think how you can gently, if there are others involved, just slightly keep that little distance going further and further apart each and every time. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist, and I'll use the example of a parent who you feel that you are bonded with and you can't do anything about, sometimes, physically you can't get away from that person, but sometimes mentally you can. They are not, regardless of what they may say, they are not your thought police. And mentally you may think, actually, when the time comes, I will go off and I'll get my own place to stay or something like that. That happens. I've had adult people still living with a very commanding and controlling parent, and they feel that, especially when there's money involved, they still have all the strings and they can pull all the strings. But then this other person who are, salient adults in themselves will then go on to form their own plans, and it may take some time, but mentally, if you have something and you have a goal that's really, really important, you can at least work towards it. Thanks so much for watching. I do hope that talking about life after a narcissist has been, just inspirational. I really do hope it has, because it can be. If anything has struck you as interesting or anything, please do put some comments below. It's really interesting to hear what anybody has to say. Also, if I could ask you to give it a like and subscribe, then YouTube gets the idea that people are watching this, and then they put it out to more people, because the more people that are in toxic and narcissistic relationships that can just get that little bit of information, the better. Take care, and I'll see you next time.